sitting down with you guys. Today, we are talking Nintendo first-party games.
What first-party games?
Well, we've got Super Mario Party, we've got Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, we've got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and we've got games that have yet to be announced. Coming soon from Kimishima.
That's the big problem I also see with the second half of 2018 is that, yes, we got one new game announcement at E3, Super Mario Party, which looks like a return to the N64 roots. But on the other side, you have two games that were delayed to 2019, namely Yoshi and Fire Emblem.
Yes, and I was also going to say, hey, Smash is not coming in September, but I was also wrong. I said it would be October.
Well, see, that's kind of what I'm thinking now that Kimishima said that there's going to be other fall Switch game announcements coming soon. And we were talking about this a little bit before we were recording, but I really do strongly believe we're going to get a Direct at some point in August that's going to announce things for September and October that are maybe smaller titles, maybe even something else in November, that I think are smaller titles that would have been overshadowed by Smash and by Pokemon at E3. And I think just, you know, Smash and Pokemon was enough for a lot of mainstream consumers. They know that's going to be enough in terms of sales for this holiday. So they probably figured, okay, well, like, why throw these games out to die? I think, I don't know, it's a catch-22, right? You're going to get the hardcore gaming people saying, well, this was a bad idea, you should have shown more. But then at the same time, the sales, I feel, are probably going to show that it was a smart decision. So, and
well, the sales, yeah, you're right about the sales because they doubled.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, you know, I was, if you know me, if you follow me on Twitter, I was pretty miffed about this Nintendo E3, and because I was just like, for one, yeah, sure, where was the Metroid Prime 4? Because it's just like, how do you end with Ridley and not end with Metroid Prime 4 right after that?
But since we're on the topic of saying things we said in that prediction discussion, did I not say we were going to get a Ridley trailer that looks like it could be Metroid Prime?
You were so right.
You were right, we were wrong.
I was like, Ridley trailer for Smash Brothers, but no Metroid Prime. And sure enough, that's what we got.
But then it's just like, then of course you got the big one missing, where the hell was Yoshi? Which then one of the gaming sites asked them the same thing, and they said it's delayed to 2019, which is like, dang. I don't know why they delayed it. Was there development troubles?
Apparently there are development troubles. I heard directly from Nintendo that there are development troubles with that game, and he's usually a pretty good source about that kind of stuff. And the more I think about the delay, I think back to Kirby. This year. We had Kirby in like February, March. It was that cute little spring game. And I'm thinking Nintendo might want to position Yoshi as that game next year.
Sounds about right.
I think that as well. But what about Fire Emblem Three Houses? That is also slated as a spring 2019 game.
Well, I mean, that could be in their ARM slot, right? That could be like a May, April kind of title. They could do like Yoshi, then they could do Fire Emblem. Though, to be completely honest, I mean, if Yoshi's really going through that much development trouble, maybe we're going to get Fire Emblem before we get Yoshi. Which would be insane. If Yoshi comes out right before E3 next year, that is going to be insane.
It would be.
Well, it would make sense from one point, because we learned about the Fire Emblem game before we learned about the Yoshi game. Technically. Because we had the Fire Emblem Direct right after the Nintendo Switch presentation in January 2017, and then the Yoshi reveal was at E3 2017. So, in a way, it actually makes a little bit of sense. And what I would like to bring up here is that at E3 we also got to play the Starlink Battle for Atlas. That out of nowhere Star Fox reveal in that game. And I think that third-party cameos and also games for the Switch will be very critical to keep people over for those months, let's say. We're now in July, we're just around the corner. Well, by the time this will be up, Octopath Traveler is already out.
Yep.
We have gotten Crash, we have gotten Wolfenstein, we are getting, of course, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. August looks very slim, though.
Okami?
Yeah, Okami is there, but how many systems have they remade that game for?
That's true. September's going to be The World Ends With You HD remix. I think that's the Japanese release date. I don't think we get it until like December, but regardless, it's like that's coming this year. I'm stoked. I love that game.
Yeah, and then in October we have Starlink Battle for Atlas and Super Mario Party.
Yep.
So the first party lineup, we only got Super Mario Party announced. It looks like a very, very promising game because it doesn't have a car, so that's really good.
Yep.
Wish we got to play it at E3, but there was no E3 demo.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird that wasn't playable at E3, considering there were a bunch of other games that I did not expect to be playable that were there. Not necessarily from Nintendo, but from other companies. And I feel like Mario Party is something that I don't really understand why they wouldn't demo that. I feel like that would be something that'd be fun on the show floor. You could have a couple mini games. Like, I'm sure a couple mini games are ready to go. So, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I'm always a little bit concerned just because, the past few Mario parties have just been like, no thanks.
Right.
But, like, they've already made one right decision by getting rid of the car, but there's going to be a ton of mini games, so yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. We'll probably do a fun little game versus game. Don't you think, Conrad?
Well, if it's on the level of 1064 games or early GameCube games, then definitely.
Of course.
So yeah, I just felt like they showed it at Treehouse. We got a lot of footage from there if anyone wants to use that. And they probably are not just ready to have a demo, or they didn't want that to detract or be drowned by Smash or Pokemon.
Right.
So and that slowly builds up to Black Friday with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which they obviously will be pushing as hard as possible, and then the rest of the holiday sales will be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Sakurai is pushing himself to a new limit to create an ultimate installment for the Smash franchise.
Yeah.
And I think this is also a good transition point because this year it looks like Nintendo is obviously building up to Smash. Very slowly but surely.
Right.
That is the highlight, that is what they're pushing, and they have also given up pretty much on having any games winning the Game of the Year award, like defending the title that Breath of the Wild took so easily last year. The only real competitor was another Nintendo game, so there you have it.
If you follow me on Twitter, once again, you would know that my feelings towards this year for the Nintendo Switch is just, like, whelmed. Because, man, I know it's hard to top last year, 2017 launch year with those games, but it's just like, at the same time, people always tell me, Joey, but look at the list of games that's coming out for the Switch this year. And I'm just like, yeah, it looks really good, but I feel like there's something missing. Like, I look at my PS4, and I look at all the games coming out for it this year, including first and third party, and I'm just like, okay, this is for me. This is what I'm going to be playing more of this year. And it's just like what E3 just made me very concerned for the Switch for the rest of the year.
Yeah, because the PlayStation is getting Spider-Man, you have Red Dead Redemption 2,
Spyro the Dragon,
Fallout 76,
Tomb Raider, Fallout 76, Just Cause 4,
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
See, I guess maybe I don't have the same concern because none of that stuff appeals to me. Like, I will play Spider-Man, but you guys even gave me God of War at E3, and I started playing through it. I'm like an hour in, and I still haven't played more of it. So I feel like a lot of the stuff that's coming on that system for me really doesn't appeal to me, but Pokemon and Smash Brothers does. Those are like two of my all-time favorite Nintendo franchises. And so for me, yeah, it is. But like, for me, this is going to be a really good year. But I also completely understand why somebody would be disappointed if there's not sort of that hardcore title beyond Smash and Pokemon.
But we're mentioning all these third-party games, and it looks like third-party support is now coming up. Ubisoft decides to bring something more. Square Enix disappointed a bit, though.
They just point on all ends, not just on the Nintendo side.
I was going to say their conference was just not good.
Seriously.
It just looks like they have Kingdom Hearts 3, and that's
it.
Pretty much it.
That's it, baby. Best game of the year.
Alright, so I think this pretty much sums it up. It looks like we might not have that many first-party games in 2018.
Not at all.
But it's building up to a very solid 2019. And we also have the third-party support and indie support, which will make for the wait for those big games outside, of course, Smash, because Smash will take all attention.
Of course.
This Christmas, especially, and also the first few months of 2019 before we get big releases from Fire Emblem, then to Bayonetta, and finally the big Pokemon game and Metroid Prime 4. So on that, I want to thank you, Roger, for joining us here in beautiful Venice, Italy.
He's looking around at a room. We're in a room.
I was going to say, thanks a lot for having me, you guys. Yeah, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoy the view from here. It's nice.
I'm excited to get back to Europe. I can't wait.
Oh, man,
awesome.
It's great.
That sounds awesome. Oh, well, we need to thank our Patreons as well.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to all our patreon.com/commonrealm supporters, starting with royal producer Kenyatta Ali. Can't forget about Kenyatta. You just can't forget about him.
He's a lovely person.
He's a lovely person. I've had dinner with him. He's great. I've never met him in my life, but, you know, we love him still. And if you guys want to know about how you can support us on Patreon in exchange for some awesome perks, like an official podcast, and you can hear this entire discussion on patreon.com for as little as $1 a month, because
people have been listening to it before you were watching it.
Exactly, because it's like this is an hour and 10-minute long discussion. We got to chop it down for YouTube, so we might have to cut out some snarkiness for YouTube, but whatever. Listen to the full thing on Patreon. It's great, trust me. But other than that, this was the Commonwealth Realm and Rogersbase. Thank you once again for joining us, Roger.
Thanks for having me.
Have you on again. Yes.
I'm sure I will
All
be
right.
at some point.
And we will see you, girls and guys, in the next one.